Chapter 1091 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng knew that the primogenitor of the Space Beast Alliance had intentions of taking him in, but he didn't expect him to be so harsh. No. Luo Feng replied directly. What a joke. The human race treated him well, and after 100,000 years of development, the humans of Earth had already spread throughout the Ganwu universe country, merging into the big family. And the Luo family's roots had already extended to the various regions. Would he be able to leave the human race just because he said so? What about his parents and wife? Ah, I forgot that your training time is still short. The primogenitor was stunned, nodding. Your family and friends are still here. Luo Feng nodded. How about this? The primogenitor said. Your golden horned beast will join our Space Beast Alliance, using the Gold Peak Knight identity you mentioned before. This won't affect your status with the human race. Just like on the Primal Star, you can use your human identity to seek help from the human race. You can also use your Space Beast identity to seek help from the Alliance. From then on, you will have two powers supporting you. However, similarly, Luo Feng said, there are two responsibilities. Joining a power, there were benefits. However, there were responsibilities too. Why did the primogenitor want him to join? Luo Feng naturally understood. The moment he stepped into the Universe Knight level, along with his life genetic level exceeding 10,000 times, then his body would be close to the Universe Lord level. Along with the Universe Lord's ultimate techniques, along with the top treasures set, treasures etc., his battle strength would be extremely strong. The moment he stepped into the Universe Lord level, he would be comparable to the pinnacle of Universe Lords like the Primal Chaos City leader. Plus Luo Feng still had the mountain guest behind him. With such strength, how could he not be roped in? Right, since the Alliance is giving you help, naturally you have to take responsibility. The primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. The stronger the responsibility, what do you think? No problem. I can take responsibility. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Good. The primogenitor nodded satisfactorily. On the path of a strong warrior, having a backup plan was after all a good thing. The moment he was in danger, even if the Great Alliance couldn't help him, there was still the Space Beast Alliance. And Luo Feng had been to Space God Mountain once. Compared to the strict hierarchy within the human race, the Space Beast Alliance was even more like brothers. Just as the primogenitor and Luo Feng were discussing, Mountain Guest walked over. I didn't hear what you two said, but from your expressions, Space Ancestor, it seems you've succeeded. Mountain Guest quickly walked over. Teacher Luo Feng bowed. Luo Feng, did this old guy give you anything? Said the mountain passenger directly. Vulgar and direct. Luo Feng was smart and replied, not yet. Mountain passenger immediately turned his head and glared at him. A universe supremacy with potential appeared in your race. Your Astral Beast Alliance will definitely bestow a universe treasure upon him, right? Why? My disciple joining your Starry Sky Beast Alliance is a blessing for the Starry Sky Beasts. It also allowed the Alliance to have one more general. There isn't even a single treasure. Before the primogenitor was stunned. Don't talk to me about the Beast God armor, you lost that. Mountain passenger said directly, it wasn't given to Luo Feng by your Space Beast Alliance. The primogenitor was indeed helpless. The rule for the Alliance to bestow treasures was usually to a Universe Knight with potential. That was if the Universe Knight didn't have a treasure to protect him. Only then would it be bestowed. If they already had it, the Cosmic Beast Alliance wouldn't waste it. One had to make contributions to the tribe in exchange for it. And Luo Feng had a top grade set on him, obviously he didn't lack treasures. Haha, that makes sense too. Right? No. Luo Feng is already at the pinnacle of the Universe Lords. Joining our Space Beast Alliance is something worth celebrating. The primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, you should know that no matter which power, they all use contributions to exchange for treasures. And for those with potential, even if they were to bestow treasures, it wouldn't be too expensive. Luo Feng nodded. Just like Bark Mirror Emperor's normal armor, a free gift usually wouldn't be too expensive. Your golden horned beast doesn't lack treasures anymore. And your human body is more suited for close combat. And I've heard that you've always used spirit weapons. I'll give you a high-level close combat weapon. The primogenitor said. Thank you, primogenitor. Luo Feng immediately said. Why wouldn't he want something that came for free? A high-level close combat weapon was already not bad. So stingy. Mountain Passenger muttered at the side. Mountain Passenger, I have the Space Beast Alliance and countless warriors to take care of. Unlike you, you're a lone wolf with no burdens. The primogenitor said helplessly, if you think my gift isn't good enough, as his teacher, you should give me something better. Relax, my gift will definitely be better than yours. Mountain Passenger was intentionally watching the primogenitor make a fool of himself. The primogenitor was helpless. What close combat weapon do you need? The primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. Blade. Luo Feng said, it's best if it's the style. He pointed in mid-air, God energy emanated and formed a blood shadow blade shape. There's definitely nothing exactly the same, however, what do you think about this one? The primogenitor flipped his right hand and immediately teleported a treasure from another part of the universe over. The handle was completely purple-black, on it were complicated engravings, the blade itself was slightly curved. In terms of the blade and handle ratio, if the blood shadow blade was a one-handed blade, this blade was more like a two-handed blade, similar to the Zhanmadeo of China's history. The blade is very similar to the blade you need, only the handle is longer. The primogenitor said. Not bad. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. This blade was even more malevolent than the blood shadow blade. Take it. The primogenitor smiled. The ancient blade immediately flew towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng extended his hand to receive it, his god energy permeating it. Simultaneously a message was transmitted into his consciousness. This blade's name was Moonslayer. Moonslayer, Luo Feng grabbed the blade and casually slashed through space. See la, there were faint marks in space, making Luo Feng even more satisfied. It was almost like the first time he used the blood shadow blade back on Earth. It made him excited. This is some information about the Space Beast Alliance. The primogenitor casually threw it and a golden book flew over. Our Space Beast Alliance, other than the headquarters, the Star God Mountain, we have many other gathering areas. Every gathering area has a teleportation path to the Star God Mountain. You can leave a token at one of the gathering areas and you can teleport there anytime, rushing towards the Star God Mountain. Double quote. Also, if you have time, make a trip back to the Star God Mountain. At least you have to obtain the token of the Golden Horned Lord and Whirlpool Lord. If there's any danger, you can ask them for help. According to the rules, you are considered part of the Golden Horned Beast bloodline. The primogenitor said. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. The Space Beast Alliance was split into many bloodlines. The leaders of his bloodline were the Golden Horned Lord and the Whirlpool Lord. If there's nothing else, I'll bring Luo Feng away, Mountain Passenger said. There's nothing else. The primogenitor smiled and nodded. I'll send you back, it'll be faster. Rumble. In an instant, space warped. Dot. Two silhouettes suddenly appeared in the vast space. One was Luo Feng, the other was Mountain Passenger. We've already returned to the original universe. I've temporarily isolated the universe laws. Mountain Passenger looked at Luo Feng. In a while, the universe laws will sense your life genetic level change. It will cause your golden horned beast to evolve. The god body will explode. In a short time it will reach the perfect god body level. Double quote. It's very similar to the last time, only this time there won't be any natural talents or techniques. No natural talents or techniques. Luo Feng was stunned, a little disappointed. Right. Mountain Passenger nodded. The bestowal of the strongest natural talents and techniques is a chance encounter for every warrior that reaches the perfect life genetic level. Their consciousness will be drawn to the universe's core and receive the inheritance. This is the consciousness receiving the inheritance. Your consciousness has already received the inheritance once. There's no way for you to receive it a second time. Every life only has one chance. Double quote. Luo Feng realized. Actually, it doesn't mean much to you. Mountain Passenger shook his head. One natural talent is already enough. What's more, you've already comprehended the universe Lord's ultimate technique. If you need more techniques, you can always create more in the future. Double quote. Luo Feng nodded. When you can control the Star Pagoda. The power of the Star Pagoda is extremely strong. There's no need for the strongest natural talents or techniques. Mountain Passenger laughed. You can activate the complicated techniques within the Star Pagoda one by one. The more you activate, the stronger it gets. It's much better than any natural talents or techniques. Double quote. Luo Feng nodded. Even though his own attainment in techniques was extremely high, the engravings on the Star Pagoda, from Luo Feng's current perspective, it was still unfathomable. The ultimate treasures were indeed not normal. If he were to be able to use the Star Pagoda in the future, just like what Mountain Passenger said, all he had to do was work hard to activate the techniques within the Star Pagoda, allowing the power of the Star Pagoda to be maximized. This is a tag. Mountain Passenger threw a tag that seemed to be carved from green stone to Luo Feng. Luo Feng received it. This tag has been specially crafted by me. It can be considered a normal treasure. If you want to contact me, send your consciousness into it and I'll receive it. I will receive it immediately, Mountain Traveler said. Yes. Luo Feng replied. Return to your God country. In a while, your God body will explosively expand from 1,000 kilometers to 90,000 kilometers. You'll need a lot of energy, and this energy is what you'll need to prepare. Mountain Passenger said. Luo Feng nodded. He had experience too. The universe laws only allowed the God body to evolve. As for the energy required to evolve, it was indeed his own. The last time the ocean clone evolved, it absorbed world energy. Go. Mountain Passenger ordered. Yes. Luo Feng could already clearly feel his own God country. He could also feel his Earth body's location. Immediately, his Earth body sent an undying slave to activate the God country's teleportation and rush over. Wing. Within the jade green God country's teleportation light, Luo Feng swiftly left. Luo Feng teleported 3 times within the space turbulence, swiftly returning to his God country. He could already feel the pressure of the universe laws. Rumble. Howl. The golden horned beast wearing the beast god armor stood in the air above the endless sea and roared. Pili-pala, its bones, horns, muscles etc. all began to expand. At the same time, it began to absorb large amounts of god energy from the endless sea, causing the golden horned beast to grow larger and larger. Chapter 1092 Swallowed Star. The golden horned beast stepped on the endless sea water and walked. Its claws were like pillars in the sky, tens of thousands of km tall. Its body was over 90,000 kilometers long. That scaled tail was completely comparable to the main body. The scaled wings seemed to cover the land and skies with a single flap, filled with boundless god energy. Every inch of his divine body was compatible with the beast god armor, a top-grade treasure. His natural scale armor had fused with the precious scale armor, and there were 5 small and 1 big horns on his head, a total of 6. And because of the beast god armor, it seemed even more ferocious. Perfect body. Over 90,000 kilometers long. My god body is much stronger than before. Luo Feng was extremely excited. From now on, his natural talent, "I'm the universe," could be unleashed at any time. Within the miniature universe, his strength would definitely rise. Howl the golden horned beast raised its head and let out a satisfied roar. "Everything is ready, it's time to find that Xian Heng." Luo Feng smiled. "Back then it was because I couldn't deal with Xian Tai the Knight and felt weak, hence I used my clan contribution points to exchange for the domain treasure 9C River, and also thought of ways to get the 4th black metal board. I didn't expect so many things to happen." Double quote. His original plan was just to get the 4th black metal board and let the golden horned beast reach the perfect god body to unleash "I'm the universe." And now, things had gone even better than planned. The top treasure beast god armor, high-level treasure slayer, and his self-created universe lord's ultimate technique, with 180 million years of training in the engravings, Luo Feng was much more confident. It would be easy for him to deal with Supremacy Xian Hao of the machine race and snatch the other pair of wings from him. The problem now is, I have to find that Xian Heng. Luo Feng wore the Calamity armor and carried the Slayer blade on his back, the Wu Killer wings spread, bringing the golden horned beast and many other clones from his world ring. He left the god country and headed towards the Primal Star. Even though the few clones were heading towards the Primal Star, normal human warriors would form a clone to connect to the virtual universe. However, Luo Feng didn't have to. As the Endless Sea was Luo Feng's largest god body, it was also one of his clones. Through the virtual universe sensor, his consciousness could naturally connect to the virtual universe. Within the virtual universe, within the Great Alliance city, within the inner city there was an outdoor bar for the Great Alliance Universe's knights to exchange information. Luo Feng slowly walked in. Luo Feng. Blade River. Along the way, the other knights passionately greeted Luo Feng. Only when he was far away, they all blocked the surrounding discussions. Back then, when the Primal Star was about to open, many knights borrowed treasures from Luo Feng. I heard even Luo Feng's senior Guiyi knight went to borrow one. However, Luo Feng refused, saying he too wanted to go to the Primal Star. However, it's been opened for close to 2 eras and he's never been inside. Double quote. If you're not strong enough, do you want to court death? He wasn't an idiot. Once he entered, he would be a walking treasure trove. Moreover, he had a huge reputation. Once he entered, he would definitely be targeted. Those outsiders would definitely surround and attack him. However, he had indeed handled this matter badly. If he didn't dare to enter, then he shouldn't have found such an excuse. If you really don't want to borrow it, just say that you don't want to borrow it. Double quote. Yes, isn't it better to be straightforward? Forcing himself to say he wants to enter too, it's really, double quote. In this outdoor bar, thousands of Great Alliance's knights were gathered. When Luo Feng arrived, it indeed caused some discussions. However, they were all private. After all, Luo Feng was able to kill Bark Mirror Emperor at the Undying level. The moment he stepped into the realm of a knight, he would definitely become a universe overlord. No one wanted to offend Luo Feng. Yi's Hao Knight. Luo Feng shouted. That strong and sturdy man with a triangular head carried a large wine glass and turned to look. He immediately laughed loudly, Blade River, and walked over. Sit over there. Luo Feng immediately walked to an empty table and sat on a huge chair. As the Great Alliance's warriors all had different body structures, even though these chairs were exquisite, they all had one thing in common: they were huge. Yi's Hao Knight immediately sat down. Luo Feng casually ordered a fruit wine and the Undying servant immediately served it. To be able to be a servant here was definitely a dream for many Undyings. That was because the normally hard-to-see knights could easily see them. If one's luck was good, they might even be able to form a relationship with one of them. Usually, they would also occasionally hear some secret information about the universe. Blade River, you're busy, you wouldn't come find me for no reason. Yi Zhao Knight placed his wine glass down and laughed loudly. Speak, what's the matter? The surrounding sounds had long been blocked. Help me investigate a foreign knight, Luo Feng said. Who? Yi Zhao Knight asked. Xianheng Knight. Luo Feng said, I want to know news about this Xianheng Knight, which primal planet he's at and what coordinates he's at. The automaton universe overlord Xianheng Knight, the one famous in the universe with the 8 shuttle? Yi Zhao Knight was shocked. Why are you looking for him? He's not to be messed with. Even though he's not as terrifying as some of the special life forms overlords, he's still one that's hard to deal with. You don't have to worry about that. Help me with something, Luo Feng said. The moment you receive this news, inform me. All right, a small matter. Yi Zhao Knight nodded. Haha, thanks. Come, let's drink. Luo Feng raised his glass. He was just an endless sea consciousness entering the virtual universe. Naturally he was relaxed. Following which, he casually chatted with Yi Zhao Knight about the happenings on Primal Planet. In these close to 20,000 years, many things had indeed happened. As Luo Feng and Yi Zhao Knight were drinking, they suddenly heard an angry roar. Ganwu. It's not that I'm forcing you, it's just that I was just killed on Primal Planet and revived by the Universe Lord through time and space. You have to know that reviving comes with a price. This time, the amount of contribution points I owe the race has reached 1.3 treasures. My long years of accumulation have all been given to the race, yet it's still not enough to make up for the debt I owe the race. I'm still lacking a little. The treasures you owe me? I didn't force you in the past, but now, an angry voice resounded. Many of the knights in the bar looked over. Luo Feng and Yi Zhao Knight looked over too. Luo Feng frowned. In the distant corners sat 2 warriors. One was an angry purple-skinned knight with a silver scalp, and the other was the Ganwu country leader. The Ganwu country leader too had an awkward expression. Looking around, he blocked the sound and continued to advise. Block what? Why do I have to block it? The foreign knight once again broke through the barrier and raged. Ganwu, we've known each other for trillions of years. You owe me. I know it's not easy for you. I've never asked for it, but now that I'm in such a situation, I've rushed you, yet you keep delaying. You really make me. The Ganwu country leader sat there, his expression ugly. That foreign knight saw this and gradually lowered his voice, no longer raging. What's going on? Luo Feng frowned. Is it still because of the revival through time and space? Yi Zhao Knight shook his head and sighed. Reviving through time and space goes against the universe laws. Hence every time, even the universe lord gets injured. Just like that foreign knight Mei Li from before. He's an upper-level knight of the universe, you know this. Reviving a universe lord requires the creator of the huge axe to act. Luo Feng nodded. Yes, even if the primal Chaos City leader were to revive a universe lord, the backlash would be enough to kill him. Reviving an upper-level knight will cause the universe lord to be injured, and it won't be a light injury. Yi Zhao Knight exclaimed, the universe lord will be injured every time he acts. The price he has to pay every time he acts isn't small. Just like that supremacy Mei who died in the primitive star and was resurrected, she owed a total of 1.3 treasure points. This is equivalent to an ordinary treasure. Normal supremacies simply can't pay it back and can only rely on a long period of time to slowly repay it. As for the Ganwu country leader, he's even worse off than Mei Li Knight. Worse off? Luo Feng frowned. Yi Zhao Knight said, 1008 universe country leaders, they're all extremely ancient knights. Luo Feng nodded. Right, ever since the universe countries reached 1008, humanity hasn't created another one. The main reason was because they didn't have enough territory. Obviously, To be able to occupy the position of 1008 universe country leaders, they were indeed extremely ancient knights. Living for so long, it means their potential has more or less been excavated to its peak. Yi Zhao Knight shook his head and sighed. Over the countless years, the Ganwu country leader has fallen 3 times, and all 3 times he's revived through time and space. However, the price to be revived is very high. Especially when he fell on the primal planet once, losing all the treasures he borrowed. The other 2 times, even though he didn't lose any treasures, he did lose some sets and treasures. Double quote. Luo Feng sighed within as he heard. Right. 1 death, 1 treasure lost. If he really dies, then so be it. However, after he revives, those who borrowed his treasures back then will definitely demand it from him. Yi Zhao Knight said, what he owes the race can be slowly returned, he won't be forced too much. However, what he owes the other warriors, he will often be demanded. It's not easy for the other warriors to even have 1 treasure. Double quote. The Ganwu country leader, after being revived through time and space 3 times, he owes a total of 6 knights. And also owes the race. Yi Zhao Knight was helpless. It'll be hard for him to make a comeback, unless his strength rises greatly and he steps into the Universe Lord level. However, he's trained for so long and still hasn't stepped into that level. To think about it. Difficult. Double quote. Actually, those ancient country leaders, even if they had the ability to split themselves, they wouldn't dare borrow treasures to go to the primal planet or any other dangerous place. They're afraid of not being able to return even after death. Double quote. Unless one has the strength or ambition, only then would they dare borrow treasures. The current Ganwu country leader has been staying in the Ganwu universe country to train for a long period of time, managing the country and nurturing the younger generations. This is also a way to earn contribution points. Even though it's very slow, there's no danger. Or he can go to a less dangerous universe secret region. Yi Zhao Knight said, falling to such a state, he can only be considered unlucky. Double quote. However, this is in our human race, with universe lords time and time again. If it's in a weak race, if he dies, he'll really die. Hence he's considered lucky, dying 3 times and reviving. Double quote. Luo Feng turned to look. The Ganwu country leader and Mei Fu Knight were conversing, obviously trying to calm each other down. Chapter 1093 Swallowed Star. After a while, Mei Fu Knight left. Only then did the Ganwu country leader leave. After all, staying here was embarrassing. Luo Feng watched the scene silently. The Ganwu country leader was lucky? Unlucky? Luo Feng couldn't judge, but he could tell the Ganwu country leader was in a terrible state. Yi Zhao Knight, I'll leave the search for Xian Knight's news to you. Luo Feng chatted with Yi Zhao Knight for a while before standing up. Haha, the moment there's news I'll inform you, it's a small matter. Yi Zhao Knight said. Luo Feng then vanished in mid-air. Virtual Universe Thunder Island, mid-mountain, within the Ganwu country leader's palace. He was walking alone in the walkway, eyebrows creased as though he was deep in thought. He was indeed annoyed. He didn't expect his peaceful days to be broken once again. The 6 knights he owed were all on good terms with him, and they didn't force him. The peaceful days made the Ganwu country leader forget about his terrible days. However, today, he was really in a terrible state. HMPH. The Ganwu country leader slapped the stone pillar beside him. It shook slightly and some rubble fell. Ganwu. A voice resounded. The Ganwu country leader turned to look. In the distance there was a silhouette flying over. With one look, he smiled and welcomed Luo Feng. It's been a long time since I've been here. Luo Feng smiled. Your training time has been short, yet your improvement is extremely fast. This time is naturally precious. The Ganwu country leader smiled. Come, sit over there. He immediately led Luo Feng to an open-air table not far away. Immediately there were servants serving good food and wine. The two sat facing each other. "Little He hasn't caused any trouble lately, right?" Luo Feng said. "No, he's quite talented and hardworking." The Ganwu country leader smiled. "If it wasn't for me forcefully suppressing him, he would have long become undying." Luo Feng nodded. His son Luo He had trained for over 100,000 years. Along with the resources he provided, it was enough to make even an emperor-level undying jealous. With Luo Feng's current position, even the lowest talent would be able to rely solely on resources to become undying. Much less Luo He's talent was not bad. He had always treated his father Luo Feng as his goal. It's good to stay in sector lord level. It's best to reach emperor level in law comprehension before breaking through to undying, Luo Feng said. "Yes, this is also my plan." The Ganwu country king nodded. "Haha, out of my family, only this little He makes me worry. Luckily I have you as my teacher." Luo Feng laughed. For example, his eldest son, Luo Peiing, and his wife, Su Xin, were both in the family's old nest, while his father, Luo Hongjiuo, and his mother, Gong Xinlan, had been playing virtual games for a very long time, and had never gotten tired of it, going to many virtual worlds. Luo Feng's resources for his parents weren't soft at all. Even though his parents didn't put in much effort, they had unknowingly reached Domain Lord level 9. If they put in a little more effort, they would have long become sector lords. Of course, only parents, wives, sons, and younger brothers had access to such resources. The Luo family had hundreds of millions of people, but everything else had to be done according to the rules. No matter how many resources they had, they couldn't keep up with the crazy consumption of countless people. They had to follow the rules. Among Luo Feng's closest relatives, only his youngest son, Luo He, has been roaming the world with his father as his goal. This made Luo Feng worry. Fortunately, this was because Luo He had been in the Ganwu dojo for a long time and was even taken in as a direct disciple by the founder of the Ganwu dojo, the Ganwu country king. Horizontal ellipsis. Luo Feng looked at the Ganwu country king. He indeed owed the Ganwu country king a favor. When he had just emerged as a genius within the human race, the Ganwu country king had taken good care of the Luo family. As he got stronger and stronger, the Ganwu country king spared no effort, even going so far as to personally save Luo He. And now he had even become Luo He's teacher. From start to finish, the Ganwu country king hadn't asked for Luo Feng's help at all. Instead, he had been helping Luo Feng. How could Luo Feng not remember this favor? Hence, he came over. "Ganwu country, I've seen what happened in Great Alliance City before," Luo Feng said. The Ganwu country king's expression froze, after which he shook his head and sighed. "Greedy. Greedy." The Ganwu country king shook his head and sighed. "If I hadn't been greedy and wanted to recoup my losses the first time I fell and was revived in time, then I wouldn't have taken the risk to borrow treasures and head to the primal star." Double quote. "That time of greed, my final fall, made me owe the race and treasures, and a top-level set of treasures. It was that time that my losses were the greatest." Double quote. "Falling 3 times and it's like this." The Ganwu country king shook his head. "Wanting to head to the primal star, if I'm not careful, I'll fall. The moment I fall, the price will be huge. If only I had the ability to clone myself, that would be great." Double quote. Luo Feng nodded within. With the ability to clone, one could send a clone over. Even if the clone were to fall, it could slowly recover. And there was no need to reverse time and space to revive. This way, the price was very small. "I'll think of a way to return it. My good friends even transferred a portion of their contribution points to me. I've finally returned the treasure I owe," the Ganwu country king said. Even though I've returned the treasure, I owe many of my good friends. As for what I owe the race, it's been accumulating till now. I don't know which era I'll be able to return it all. Double quote. Greedy. If I wasn't greedy and didn't take the risk after falling once, but slowly accumulated, at least I'd be able to recoup all the losses. It wouldn't be too late to take the risk again. The Ganwu country king shook his head. Luo Feng understood. The race wasn't a place for charity. Even though they would help the race members, they still needed the strong of the race themselves. Enjoying the benefits of the race and contributing to the race, this was the norm. If the Ganwu country king continued to owe the race like this, he would only owe more and more. Luckily the race wouldn't force him. How much do I owe? Luo Feng said. The Ganwu country king was shocked. Looking at Luo Feng, he had some guesses and couldn't help but feel excited. Was this moving treasure trove Luo Feng going to help? I owe the 6 universe lords. The least is a few hundred points, the most is 2,000. The 6 added together, it's a total of 1.6 points. The Ganwu country king said. As for what I owe the race, it's a total of 2.2 points. Double quote. Luo Feng was shocked within. Vicious. No wonder he couldn't pay it back. 3.8 points was enough to exchange for 2-3 normal treasures. Even the universe overlords usually only had this much. And the Ganwu country king actually owed so much. Of course Luo Feng didn't really care. He had acquired a treasure armor from killing Bark Mirror Emperor, after which he killed the universe overlord Li Giant Knight in the danger grounds. He acquired 2 more treasures, of which the God Blade was a high-level treasure. As of now, Luo Feng had the Pagoda Pearl, the Star Map, the Wu Killer Wings, the 9 River, the Golden Vibration Hao Emperor Armor, the Godly Blade and Armor of the Flying Sword Knight, the Top Treasure Beast God Armor, the Pinnacle Treasure Calamity Armor, the high-level treasure Blade Moon Slayer, and the extremely powerful treasure Star Pagoda he was about to get. The quantity was high and the quality was high. Of course the best 3 were the Beast God Armor, Calamity Armor and Star Pagoda. Of which the Calamity Armor and Star Pagoda came from Mountain Guest. The Beast God Armor set was lost to Luo Feng by the primogenitor. The best 3 belonged to the strongest experts in the universe. And with Luo Feng's methods, it wouldn't be hard for him to acquire more treasures. The strong would always be strong. This was the logic. I'll lend you 1.6 points. Luo Feng said. As for what you owe the race, it's up to you. 1.6 points. The Ganwu country king felt every cell in his god body cheering and roaring. He was so excited he was boiling. Over trillions of years, he had always owed his 6 knight friends. How painful was that? Especially after being scolded by Mei Yu Knight this time, he could only bear with it. As a universe knight, he valued his face a lot. However, against the scolding of his friends, he could only bear with it. However, from today onwards all of this was gone. Luo Feng. The Ganwu country king was so grateful he didn't know what to say. At this time, he received the notification of 1.6 points. Also, there was a message from the race urging him to return the points. Of course the Ganwu country king wasn't in a rush to return the points. After all, the race wouldn't make him lose face. I can only help you this much. The rest is up to you. Luo Feng stood up. This favor of yours is really, haha, the Ganwu country king couldn't help but laugh. Sorry, I forgot myself. This pressure has been weighing on me for countless years. Today, it's finally gone. I'll slowly return the points to the race. Luo Feng nodded. The Ganwu country king had helped his family a lot. This time, he was returning the favor. Helping him with 1.6 points was enough. What he owed the race would also give the Ganwu country king some pressure. I'll make a move first. Luo Feng immediately vanished. The Ganwu country king stood there, his eyes gleaming. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, the The Ganwu country king suddenly raised his head and laughed loudly. His laughter was bright and clear, resounding throughout the entire palace. It made the servants from the Ganwu country king look at each other. They had never heard the Ganwu country king laugh so happily, so willfully. The Ganwu country king immediately transferred the points to his 6 friends. Ganwu, you're actually returning the points? Where did you get them from? Ganwu, I didn't do it on purpose in Hongmeng City before. I was just too anxious. Where did you get them from? If there's really no other way, there's no need to mess around. It's fine to drag it out for a while. I can hold on. Double quote. The 6 knights all contacted one by one. The Ganwu country king's mood was great. He chatted with the 6 knights. The pressure has dissipated. The Ganwu country king felt incredibly relaxed. Simultaneously, he exclaimed within. This Luo Feng's improvement was indeed unbelievable. In a blink of an eye, he had casually transferred 1.6 points to him. In the universe space, in the pitch-black space, there was a blurry space whirlpool. Heading to the primal star number 02818. Luo Feng stood in space and gazed into the distance. On his back was a pair of silver wings, the armor on his body was silver too. On his back was the mountain beheader blade. The last time I sneaked in, no one knew I had entered the primal star. In Hongmeng, many knights were discussing, saying that it was just an excuse for me to head to the primal star without borrowing the treasures. Double quote. Haha. That's right, I should go in as a human. Alien race tyrants, the human moving treasure trove has arrived. Luo Feng took a step in space and entered the huge space whirlpool. Following which, he was transported to the primal star. Chapter 1094 Swallowed Star. On the vast land, there was a continuous mountain range that stretched as far as the eye could see. Above this mountain range, there was a spatial vortex, and a silver-winged, silver-armored young man stepped out of it. He stood in midair and surveyed his surroundings. Silence. According to the information I've obtained, the probability of treasures appearing in the first few hundred years of the primitive star's opening is higher, and the experts who have been suppressed for countless years are more excited. There was more killing. However, during the majority of the 1000 eras, the strong warriors were all in hiding, there wasn't a chance for them to hide. Luo Feng's wings flapped and he broke through the skies. Flying high in the sky, he looked down. Although it was a different primitive star this time, there was not much difference between the 10,081 primitive stars. Horizontal ellipsis. After flying for about half an hour. Luo Feng was still flying above the mountain range, however with a glance he saw a purple object on a lake. He immediately dove down and stepped on the surface of the lake, heading towards his target. Luo Feng picked it up. This was a purple cloth that was about 3 meters long and wide. It was extremely light. Luo Feng immediately infused a thread of God energy into it, and after it recognized him as the owner, information flooded in. This was a precious treasure, and its name was Imitation Purple Dawn Sky. With the control of the Void Transformation God Force, the purple screen could instantly expand, and could completely envelop the opponent. It was an extremely powerful treasure. Even though it was just a treasure, this kind of cloth-like treasure, it was Luo Feng's first time seeing one, and he could feel that this treasure was definitely one of the top spirit weapons. Copied from Zi Chenshin? Luo Feng muttered to himself, his real name is actually like that, how weird. Could it be that there's an even more powerful treasure called Purple Dawn Sky? However, why was the treasure born in the original star named Imitation Purple Sky? Luo Feng felt the mysteriousness of the universe. Even though he was already standing at the pinnacle of the universe, there were still many secrets he couldn't understand. This treasure is probably worth a few hundred treasure points. My luck is pretty good to be able to obtain such a great treasure as soon as I arrived. Luo Feng laughed. Primal Star was like that. If you were lucky, you could step on treasures just by walking. Many warriors knew there were many treasures in Primal Star, however similarly there were many warriors gathered here too. No matter how many treasures one could obtain, if one were to be killed, it would just be a gift to another expert. He was strong. Only then could they dominate the primitive star. Like Luo Feng. He no longer feared the overlords of the universe. As for the Universe Lord, this was a primal planet. The Universe Lord had no way to teleport. If the Universe Lord descended, Luo Feng would have long received the news through the virtual universe. Naturally, he would stay far away. With Luo Feng's current terrifying abilities, the Universe Lord's ability to control space itself really couldn't do anything to him. Luo Feng felt like he was taking a stroll in his own garden, leisurely strolling on the primal star. He was waiting for his chance. His endless underworld ocean body was connected to the virtual universe and waiting for news from Xian Heng. The moment he received it, Luo Feng would naturally rush over with his fastest speed. Horizontal ellipsis. Luo Feng had been on this planet for the 29th hour. The sky was dark and within the vast forest laid a huge life form. He looked like he was carved from a massive purple crystal. He had two heads and the armor on his body was faintly discernible. He just lay there, waiting in silence. He, an absolute warrior of the Purple Blaze race, moving alone on Primal Star, proved his strength, an overlord of the universe. There were a few energy life forms that weren't afraid of soul attacks. Like the Purple Blaze race, they were one of them. They didn't fear soul attacks and liked to stay close to the ground. Many races sat while training, however the Purple Blaze warriors trained while lying down. Dense Light Lord laid there. One of his two heads had its eyes closed while the other had its eyes open. This state was the Purple Blaze race's alert state. Both of his heads opened their eyes simultaneously. Through the gaps between the leaves of the forest, he locked onto the distant human silhouette in the sky. It's a human. The misty light suzerain stood up quietly. Silver wings. That appearance. His two faces were filled with shock. This appearance, isn't it the legendary absolute genius Luo Feng? This, right, treasure wings, this, how is this possible? Even though this absolute genius killed Bark Mirror Emperor, he's after all only an undying. In terms of battle strength, he's only an intermediate knight. And on Primal Star, any random warrior has at least an advanced level knight's battle strength. Double quote. The moment he saw Luo Feng, Dense Light Lord's heart indeed burned with passion. After all, the Purple Blaze race was one of the countless races of the Northern Border Alliance. The Bark Mirror Emperor that Luo Feng killed was from the Northern Border Alliance. The warriors of the Northern Border Alliance were naturally very familiar with Luo Feng's basic information. Moreover, the universe's trillions of races, many well-informed super experts had long since deduced that this undying peerless genius had at least 6 supreme treasures. Soul-type treasures, spirit weapon treasures, wings treasures, armor treasures, and at least 2 treasures from the ancestral god sect. At least 6 treasures, this was definitely more than the wealth of many universe overlords. And there were soul-type treasures that even the universe overlords would be jealous of, plus Luo Feng was weak, only an undying. He was simply a walking treasure trove. The Northern Border Alliance had even discussed that if Luo Feng were to enter Primal Star, he would simply be giving treasures to the other races. It all depended on who was lucky enough to meet him. However, the races all believed Luo Feng wouldn't be stupid enough to go to Primal Star. And from the reports of the past 20,000 years, Luo Feng indeed hadn't entered Primal Star at all. He's actually here. And I didn't receive any news before this. Am I the first to discover him? Dense Light Lord's 2 heads looked up at Luo Feng flying high in the sky. He's a rare absolute genius of the human race. He shouldn't be so stupid as to put himself in danger. He was burning with passion and excitement, but also vigilance. This Luo Feng dared to come. He must have some sort of life-saving method. However, Dense Light Lord hesitated for 3 seconds before swiftly making his decision. HMPH, he's an undying. Even if he has life-saving methods, don't tell me he can kill me. To kill me, it'll at least be a Universe Lord. He can't possibly have a Universe Lord hiding in his world ring, right? Dense Light Lord laughed within. Who cares what life-saving methods he has? At most, he can't threaten me. The opportunity is right before my eyes. A walking treasure trove. Killing him, I'll get at least 6 treasures. When that happens, I'll be able to return to the Alliance to exchange for a high-level armor. Dense Light Lord thought. He didn't need the legendary soul-type treasures that Luo Feng had. Because he was a life form of the purple smelter, he could only use them to exchange with the Alliance. I can't miss this opportunity. To be able to discover him first, it's luck. If I miss it, I'll regret it for 1,000,000,000 years. A ferocious glint flashed across the 2 heads of blurry light overlord. Su. He began to fly and accelerate noiselessly. First, he sped through the forest. At this time, Luo Feng was flying high in the sky while surveying the land below. His speed wasn't too fast, allowing Dense Light Lord to quickly catch up to him. Luo Feng flew in the sky. At the start, he indeed didn't notice Dense Light Lord. However, as he flew out of the forest towards him, naturally he could see him clearly. However, the distance between them was already very close. Human. Dense Light Lord rushed into the sky. His purple crystal skin glowed bewitchingly. His 2 heads locked onto Luo Feng. His eyes gleamed, obviously filled with killing intent. Luo Feng gazed below and frowned. Northern Border Alliance's Dense Light Lord. Luo Feng swiftly recognized him. Against the Dense Light Lord rushing up from below, Luo Feng placed his hand on the hilt of the mountain beheading blade on his back and immediately pulled it out. Die. Dense Light Lord's 6 arms simultaneously grabbed a crescent moon. As the distance between the 2 swiftly closed, rumble the surroundings swiftly entered the time domain. The domain affected Luo Feng slightly. Dense Light Lord used this chance to ignite his god energy and unleash his killer move. To deal with a legendary undying like me, he has to go all out. Luo Feng thought, suddenly using the origin law domain to kill. These universe tyrants aren't easy to deal with. Double quote. Hua hua hua. Suddenly, countless lights appeared in the surrounding land and skies. Almost like countless stars twinkling, however every light was filled with killing intent. Countless beams of light swiftly enveloped Luo Feng, attempting to kill him. Luo Feng watched this. The mountain beheading blade in his hand was still very stable. Dense Light Lord's ultimate move, Dense Light World. Luo Feng nodded. I'll use you to test my 180 million years of achievements. Against the incoming killer move. Luo Feng, who had long ignited his god energy to maintain his peak condition, finally moved the mountain beheading blade in his hand. In an instant, the blade's blade was covered in dense origin law engravings. The engravings were intricate, with a shocking beauty. As the blade was swung out, it triggered the universe's gold space origin laws. Still resisting the full power of a universe tyrant's move, even if you have a normal armor, you'll still fall. Accept your fate. Dense Light Lord's expression changed. That's right. Double quote. A resplendent gold light. Ice cold. Sharp. In an instant, the golden light slashed through the endless light. The unique skill of the lush light overlord was crushed like a joke in front of this move. The cold golden light slashed on the lush light overlord's divine body armor. Its power was far beyond the limit of an ordinary Supreme Treasure armor. As a result, the Supreme Treasure armor could only weaken half of the attack, leaving the rest of the impact to the lush light overlord's divine body. Roar. A distant, faintly discernible roar resounded in the ears of the blurry light overlord. dense Light Lord was stunned in mid-air, following the inertia. Following which, without a sound, his body was completely destroyed, vanishing like air. All that was left was a floating black armor and 6 randomly flying lights. Luo Feng stood in mid-air, revealing a smile as he watched the scene. Chapter 1096 Swallowed Star. The floating black armor and the 6 flying scimitars turned and flew back to him under Luo Feng's godly energy control. It's just an ordinary supreme treasure armor. 6 normal weapons should be part of a set, equivalent to a high-level weapon's value. Luo Feng kept the treasures and summoned the distant world ring. This was the world ring that fell to the ground after the Light Lord fell. Luo Feng checked it. There were only a few tens of treasures and other items within. Their value probably couldn't even compare to a normal treasure. After killing the Light Lord, Luo Feng collected his spoils. And even though his human god body's energy consumption to use his strongest move was huge, with the ocean clone's replenishment, he could still maintain his peak condition. Su. Luo Feng's wings flapped and he became a beam of light flying away. His speed was neither fast nor slow, maintaining his sub-light speed. The surroundings were silent, there was no movement or traces. No one could tell that a universe overlord had just fallen here. The Northern Border Alliance controlled an incomparably large territory. In the space where the Zi clan lived, on a completely dark red life planet, there was the Light Lord's shrine. The shrine wasn't big, however it was still considered one of the sacred lands of the Zi clan. The Zi clan had a total of 6 universe overlords. The universe overlords were already the strongest beings of the clan, hence the entire clan was split into 6 territories, with the 6 overlords managing and nurturing them. Within the shrine, a few disciples and servants looked respectfully at the distant silhouette. It was the clone that the Light Lord left behind after heading to the primal planet. The clone was extremely weak. However, it was after all the consciousness of the Light Lord. It could definitely guide the disciples and deal with some matters. The Light Lord's face revealed a look of fear. Ping. It immediately dissipated. Leader. Teacher. The 3 disciples and some personal servants who were waiting in the distance were shocked. The starry space around the planet was sealed. Even the bright light overlord couldn't teleport away. But why did the clone suddenly vanish? Don't rush, the teacher must have encountered something extremely important that required his full strength, hence he retracted his consciousness and the clone naturally vanished. Let's take a look at the token he gave us. Let's look at the token. The 3 disciples immediately took out their tokens. The keepsake was an item fused with the life mark of the Light Overlord. It was like a treasure that recognized its master. Once it was crushed, the Light Overlord would sense it and come to save the disciple. The token has become an ownerless item. A shrill voice came from the throat of one of the disciples. The 2 heads spoke at the same time, and it sounded even colder. Ownerless item. Mine has also become an ownerless item. The 3 disciples of the Zi clan looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with fear and panic. They knew very well what this scene meant. There were 2 ways for an item to become ownerless. The first way was for the owner to personally retrieve the life imprint. The other was that the master was killed. However, Lush Light Overlord wasn't here, so he couldn't take back the mark. There was no doubt about the answer. The bright light overlord had fallen. Hurry up and notify the other lords. Quick, right now. Inform the higher-ups of the clan. The Zi race had a total of 6 universe overlords. These 6 universe overlords supported the entire race. The fall of one was equivalent to the collapse of one of the pillars of the race. This was a very frightening blow to the Zi race. Moments later, the 3 Zi race universe overlords who hadn't gone to the primitive star rushed over. They first asked the disciples of the bright light overlord in detail before sending them away. Inside the palace, The three purple crystal two-headed life forms were standing. The atmosphere was tense. Bright Light has fallen. Who could have killed Bright Light? He didn't even have time to ask for help. Bright Light had an ordinary treasure armor, and his attacks were even stronger. Killing him, could it be a Lord of the Universe? Double quote. Even if it wasn't a Lord of the Universe, it must be one of the most powerful universe overlords. The three universe overlords were silent. Right. The Bright Light Overlord, Jiu Feng, Pei Feng, Palace Master Divergent Blood, and the others were all normal universe overlords. However, there were still some who were heaven-defying. For example, there were some universe overlord level special life forms that were 8,000 or 9,000 times stronger. Their god power was 100 times purer than ordinary universe overlords. Even if it was the same attack, the power would be 100 times stronger. In addition, these heaven-defying universe overlords would obtain even stronger treasures. Their combat power was indeed very strong. Coupled with their huge god bodies, even if they met a Lord of the Universe they could hold out for a long time. Entering the primitive star means the danger of being killed. We can forget about it. An existence that could kill Bright Light like that is not someone our ZI race can provoke. Double quote. Yes. The three universe overlords nodded. We have to apply to the Northern Border Alliance to revive Bright Light. Bright Light is a universe overlord. To revive him, only the Alliance leader can do it personally. Everyone knows the Alliance leader's temper. I'm afraid we have to wait until the Alliance leader is in a good mood before reviving Bright Light. Universe low-level venerables, mid-level venerables, high-level venerables after dying, they would usually be revived not too long after. At most, they would be delayed for tens of thousands of years. But it was hard to say for universe overlords. Because in the entire Northern Border Alliance, only the Alliance leader could revive universe overlords. The other universe lords could not do it. If the Alliance leader was delayed for hundreds of millions of years, no one would dare to say anything. Don't worry about it. Apply to the Alliance and wait. Yes, when Feng Guang revives, we'll know how he died. The primordial star was the closest to the origin of the universe. Flying above the primordial star felt wonderful. Luo Feng smiled as he flew, recalling the battle from before. This is the first time I've used my full strength in a battle. I didn't expect it to be this powerful. Luo Feng was extremely satisfied with this power. However, it's indeed the ultimate technique of the Universe Lord. The amount of God energy used up by this move is extremely ridiculous. If it wasn't for my Serene Ocean clone constantly replenishing it, I'm afraid that one move would have taken away half of my god body. Back in the Beast God world, when Luo Feng fought the primogenitor, he didn't even ignite his god body. With an undying body, without igniting, he wouldn't expend any god energy no matter how he fought. And in that life or death battle earlier, Luo Feng ignited his god body. Palace Master Kizu and Venerable Sea Giant would consume a lot of energy when they used their ultimate moves. And Luo Feng's Universe Lord ultimate technique Golden Light was much higher level than Kizu Palace Leader and Ki Giant Knight's techniques. Luo Feng didn't even purposely use his energy. The amount of energy this Golden Light absorbed was already more than half of Luo Feng's god body. Of course, the Serene Ocean clone swiftly replenished it. The consumption was huge. Its power was ridiculously strong too. Too strong. I can feel that his normal armor is extremely weak under my blade. If my attacks were stronger by another level, this treasure would probably be destroyed. Luo Feng thought. 9,800 times his life genetic level, 100 times his god energy amplifier. This made Luo Feng's god body definitely not weaker than a normal universe tyrant. Even unique life forms like the world tree and frost whale in the ancestral god secret region were universe tyrants with strength comparable to universe lords. Their god energy was only 2 levels purer than Luo Feng's. However, Luo Feng's Universe Lord ultimate technique was 2 levels stronger than the World Tree and Frost Whale. The advantage of the technique made up for his lack of God energy. In terms of battle strength, the moment Luo Feng unleashed his Universe Lord ultimate technique, he would be comparable to a universe tyrant that was so powerful. His armor was too weak, it only weakened him by half. Of course his body would be destroyed. If it was a high-level armor, I'd probably only be able to heavily injure him. To kill him, I'd need a few more moves. Luo Feng thought. From this, one could see how important the armor was. With the Calamity armor, even Universe Lords didn't have many attacks that could reach the limit of the Calamity armor. 180 million years of cultivation is indeed a great achievement. Luo Feng nodded satisfactorily. His deep attainments in the engravings made it extremely easy for him to train in the space laws. Even though he had only left the beast god realm for a few days, the final mystery of the space laws, strangulation, had already been comprehended by Luo Feng. Now he only needed to combine teleportation, sealing and strangulation into one, and he would be able to step into the Universe Night level. However, this last test slightly affected Luo Feng. Just like some warriors with extremely high attainments in the space laws would be affected by the final level of the gold laws, Luo Feng's current attainments were extremely high, but he too was affected by this level. Like what Mountain Guest said, he could break through at any time. No matter how slow he was, he would at most need 1,000 years to step into the Universe Night level. Once I become a Universe Knight, my body will be comparable to the World Tree and Frost Whale. And my techniques will be even more powerful. When that time comes, I'll probably be able to truly fight against Universe Lords. Luo Feng anticipated within. And I'll be able to use the Star Pagoda even more then. Luo Feng smiled and continued flying. He was waiting for the next alien race like the blurry light leader to kill him. Come, I'm a moving treasure trove. Luo Feng smiled. Look, that's the human Luo Feng. In one of the hills of the wasteland, the 3 high-level sovereigns from the Thorn Ring Alliance were hiding. They were silently waiting for the energy ripples. However, amongst them, Ji-Ki Sovereign looked up in shock at the sky and immediately transmitted anxiously. Luo Feng, what Luo, you're talking about that lucky human punk? The other 2 knights looked up fiercely. The 3 of them carefully identified him. Silver-armored, silver-winged, black-haired human. It's him, the human Luo Feng. That's him, he has at least 6 treasures on him. And he's definitely got a soul-type treasure, maybe even a flying palace-type treasure. He actually dares to come to Primal Star. Does this absolute genius think he's invincible? He dares to be so arrogant. Arrogant is good, this is basically a human moving treasure trove. Be careful, this human Luo Feng might have something to rely on. What reliance? Even if there's a Universe Lord secretly protecting him in the World Ring, so what? The surrounding weeds and grass covered their silhouettes. The 3 of them looked at the silhouette flying through the sky, their hearts burning with passion. We have to succeed. Our strength is far stronger than his. However, the moment he escapes and flies at light speed, we won't be able to catch up no matter what. I have a plan, we definitely won't let him escape. The shortest and sturdy 4-hooved alien communicated. The other 2 knights listened carefully. Chapter 1097 Swallowed Star. The 4-hooved alien communicated, the 2 other knights beside him listened carefully, finishing the entire plan in less than a second. Even though they were conversing secretly, they were all staring at Luo Feng who was flying in mid-air that was their prey. This was much easier than fighting for any of the treasures. Go, the moment the 4-hooved alien gave the order, he was suddenly shocked. Rumble. Rumble. In the distance, There were two silhouettes swiftly flying towards Luo Feng from two different directions. With the vision of the four-hooved man and Ji Qi, they could naturally see clearly, one of the two silhouettes flying towards Luo Feng as beams of light. One of them was over 100 meters tall and had a total of 10 claws. The fur on its body almost covered its knees and its one jade green eye was filled with killing intent and greed. And the other alien was like a human-shaped bug, extremely skinny, its hands however were like blades. He got there first. Ji Qi Knight stared hard. It's the Northern Border Alliance, our plan, the other knight said anxiously. The four-hooved alien roared, don't worry about the plan, hurry and make your move. Rumble. 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 3 beams of light swiftly rose from the ground and headed straight for Luo Feng. This scene made the distant 2 knights of the Northern Border Alliance panic. The Beast Knight with drooping fur roared, it's those bastards from the Thorn Ring Alliance, we discovered this Luo Feng first, don't let them get him. It's definitely ours. The skinny alien knight bared his teeth, emitting an endless ferocious aura. Luo Feng however was the calmest, flying neither fast nor slow in mid-air, one after the other. A foreign knight flew towards him from both directions. Northern Border Alliance's Knight Kebi, Tyrant Xiu Knight. Luo Feng could tell with a glance, the Tyrant Xiu Knight's body is huge, much bigger than the Busy Light Leader I killed before. The Busy Light Leader was over 10 meters tall, while he was over 100 meters tall. However, he probably doesn't have any armor, killing him in one move should be enough. In terms of defense, if he didn't use any techniques to block, just using his body to take it. The universe tyrants didn't have much of an advantage over the universe's high-level sages, they usually relied on their treasured armor. Normal armors were enough for a normal overlord fight, but if they were to meet a universe overlord like the World Tree, Frost Whale, or Venerable Purple Rain, normal armors wouldn't be enough. They would need the protection of high-grade armors in order to not be killed in one move. Of course, if one's god body was over 1,000 kilometers long like the golden horned beasts, relying on its size, even a normal armor would be able to survive for a while longer. If his divine body wasn't big enough and he didn't have a high-grade supreme treasure armor, he wouldn't be able to survive. Against the pinnacle of the universe tyrants like World Tree, Ice Whale, Purple Rain Knight and Luo Feng, that was suicide. Of course, no one on the Primal Star knew of Luo Feng's strength, the only one who knew was the blurry light leader had already fallen. In their eyes, Luo Feng was a human moving treasure trove. Another 3. Luo Feng's gaze swept, it's the Thorn Ring Alliances, Ji Qi, Chu Ka and Swift Eagle. They are all high-level universe venerables, no threat. Rumble. Luo Feng's wings flapped and he became a beam of light, his speed soaring as he swiftly escaped. He's about to escape. Don't let this human Luo Feng escape. Quick, that direction. The Northern Border Alliance's Kebi Knight and Tyrant Xiu Knight were panicking. Even though they weren't afraid of the 3 from the Thorn Ring Alliance, they were after all 3 of them and only 2 of them, along with the fact that the difference in strength between them wasn't huge. Any 2 of them would be able to hold them off. Luo Feng's human moving treasure trove would probably be snatched away by them. Chase. Quick. Let's split up and surround him. Ji Qi's honorable, the 4-hooved being, and the other 3 Thorny Ring Alliance's honorables immediately split into 3 different routes. They wanted to flank Luo Feng from both sides and chase after him. The 3 of them kept increasing their speed. Weng. The time and space law domains all descended, madly obstructing Luo Feng. Trying to escape? Ha, human Luo Feng, you coming to Primal Star is suicide. Kebi Knight laughed savagely, a ring suddenly appeared in his hand and he waved it fiercely. The ring swiftly grew, under the control of the godly energy, it flew at light speed towards Luo Feng, its speed was shocking. The 3 from the Thorn Ring Alliance were panicking, However, the Northern Borders Knight had a spirit weapon, they couldn't do anything about it. No problem, that Luo Feng has a spirit weapon. Ji Qi Knight said expectantly, as the three of them left later. They were slightly further away from Luo Feng, they were at a disadvantage. Right, Luo Feng has a spirit weapon. Want to capture me? Luo Feng roared angrily. Hua. Luo Feng waved his right hand, stars swiftly flew through the air, over 1,000 stars were covered in a blur of origin law engravings, under the control of the godly energy, they swiftly formed a huge beast god. The beast deity raised his head and roared, then charged towards the ring. The beast god's tail swung fiercely, becoming a beam of light. It was extremely fast, immediately whipping the ring that couldn't dodge in time. The ring was whipped into the distance, under the control of Kebi Knight. It swiftly flew back, trying to get past the beast god, however the beast god once again viciously whipped it away. Indeed a spirit weapon, its power is huge. Kebi Knight gritted his teeth. Ha ha ha, you can't escape. The largest god with a body covered in hair, Tyrant Xiu Knight, let out a powerful roar, heading straight for Luo Feng. Luo Feng immediately turned. The three universe supremacies of the Thorny Ring Alliance also approached from three different directions. High in the air, the five knights were madly surrounding Luo Feng, and Luo Feng was like a prey that had fallen into a trap, madly struggling and running, occasionally controlling his spirit weapon to block the enemies. Rumble. Rumble. The clashing of the spirit weapons created a huge commotion, spreading in all directions. There's energy ripples. Double quote. They're fighting. It must be a top-level set or treasure that's about to appear, causing the fight. Let's hurry over. On this primal planet, as the ripples spread, it immediately attracted the warriors from far away. Luo Feng was still like a bird startled by the mere twang of a bow, frantically running around, using his spirit weapon time and again to block the attacks. Quickly, stop him. Thorn Ring Alliance, the commotion from this battle has already spread, even though the other foreign knight teams are further away. As time drags on, I'm afraid the other teams will follow the energy ripples and rush over. When that happens, it won't just be a fight between us, it'll be a huge chaotic battle, we won't get anything out of it. From what I see, how about we work together? Tyrant Xiu Knight communicated. Bastard. The three from the Thorn Ring Alliance were extremely anxious too, however Luo Feng was simply too agile, using the Wu Killer Wings to change his speed and accelerate extremely quickly. And with the spirit weapon obstructing him time and time again, they were unable to form an encirclement. No matter what they did, they couldn't stop Luo Feng. Of course there was another reason, the Thorn Ring Alliance and Northern Border Alliance weren't united, they didn't want the other to catch Luo Feng, hence the delay. Alright, let's work together. We'll work together to kill Luo Feng. As for the treasure, it'll depend on our abilities. The four-hooved foreign knight communicated. Alright. Tyrant Xiu Knight agreed. They wouldn't say 50/50, that would be a lie, both sides were from different factions. If they believed 50/50, that would be a joke. The five from the Thorn Ring Alliance and Northern Border Alliance officially worked together, working together and blocking Luo Feng from all directions. Constantly pressuring Luo Feng, causing him to have less and less room to maneuver. And the Knight BK and Ji Qi Knight had their spirit weapons to obstruct him. This caused Luo Feng to fall deeper and deeper into danger. Rumble. A golden wave suddenly appeared in the sky and land. The wave rumbled, engulfing a diameter of 30 million kilometers, completely enveloping the five knights within it. It's a domain. It's a domain treasure, not good, we can't catch him, he's escaped the encirclement. Ji Qi Knight was anxious. The power of the domain's obstruction isn't strong, it should be a domain treasure. And it's not even considered an absolute treasure. Double quote. Quick, catch him. suddenly falling into the endless waves. The 5 knights of the North Border Alliance and Thorny Ring Alliance were shocked too. They ordered Luo Feng to escape from their encirclement. However, they quickly discovered that the Golden Wave's resistance wasn't that strong. It wasn't even comparable to a top-level domain treasure. If it was a domain treasure, its value would be even higher than normal treasures. The resistance isn't strong. Catch him. The 5 knights gave their all to surround him. Even though the resistance wasn't strong, it still made things much easier for Luo Feng. Within this domain, he dodged and dodged to buy time. Ha ha ha, look, it's the human Luo Feng. It's the human Luo Feng. Quick. There were 3 teams flying over from different directions. From afar, it was hard to make out the silhouettes within the golden waves. However, the madly fleeing Luo Feng, even though they couldn't see him clearly, through his treasured wings and spirit weapon beast god, they swiftly made a judgment. The human Luo Feng has actually come to Primal Star. Look, it's the Thorn Ring Alliance, ha ha ha, and the Northern Border Alliance's Tyrant Xiu and the others. No wonder they are madly surrounding him. It's the human Luo Feng. Double quote. Hurry and go, Luo Feng has at least 6 treasures, especially 1 soul treasure. Quick. There were a total of 8 universe supremacies among the 3 foreign race teams that rushed over. Soon, they charged into the Golden Wave. Within the endless 9 Precipice River, Luo Feng seemed to be in a difficult situation. However, he was very calm within. Another 8 have arrived. They are from the Demon Alliance, 9 Regions Alliance and the Bud Clan Alliance. Oh, 7 Universe Upper Level Knights. Oh, there's even a Universe Overlord. Luo Feng nodded within. Adding up to a total of 12 Universe Upper Level Knights, 1 Universe Overlord. It's time to close the net. Luo Feng, who had been using a portion of the 9 Precipice River's power, finally went all out. Rumble. His burning god energy madly poured into the 9 Precipice River. Simultaneously the Gold Lore domain descended and completely merged with the 9 Precipice River. Rumble. The golden wave that initially had little resistance suddenly became ferocious, at the same time thickening, almost as though the stream water had turned into a strong glue. The resistance immediately increased by 3 levels, making it extremely difficult for the 12 Universe Upper Level Knights to fly. Chapter 1098 Swallowed Star. The 9-Sea River flowed majestically and floated within 10 million kilometers of space. Under Luo Feng's extreme activation of his god energy, especially with his current level of attainment in techniques, the engravings of the 9-Sea River were easily broken through and completely activated to its maximum. One could only see the vast power and pressure. With Luo Feng's genetic level being 9,800 times and his god energy amplification being 100 times, as well as fully activating the 9-Sea River. If the 9-Sea River's 9 beasts worked together, they could easily destroy an intermediate level knight. Even if they split up, they could still heavily injure him. If one fell into it, even an advanced level knight would find it hard to fly or move. Treasure. It's a domain treasure. That human Luo Feng hid his strength earlier, hiding the power of this treasure. Ji Qi Honorable communicated to Chu Ka Honorable, who was very close to him. Chu Ka Honorable tried his best to move towards Ji Qi Honorable, however he felt that his speed was ridiculously slow. He too communicated anxiously, that human Luo Feng, why did he hide the power of his domain treasure? If he released it earlier, he could easily escape from us. However he didn't. What is his goal? Double quote. Ji Qi Knight and the 4-hooved Knight were panicking within. The 9-Sea River's powers suddenly exploded, making them feel that something was amiss. It's a trap. It's definitely a trap. We have to hurry and leave this domain. Our flying speed is ridiculously slow in here. If there's a strong enemy, he can easily destroy us one by one. Quickly. Quickly leave. Even though they didn't have any confidence, taking a risk in a place like the Primal Star, these knights were all on high alert. Only earlier when they saw the human Luo Feng, they were all blinded by greed and madness. Now that they felt something was amiss, even though some of the 13 knights were still unwilling and greedy, trying to find the human. However, most of them decided to hurry and leave. In the center of the Nine-Sea River, Luo Feng spread his wings and stood there quietly. He clearly knew the movements of the 13 knights within the Nine-Sea River. They are starting to panic. They are indeed very cautious. It's a pity, it's too late. Luo Feng grabbed the saber on his back and gently pulled it out. The cold blade didn't have any resistance in the Nine-Sea River water, instead it was like a fish in water. Because this was Luo Feng's domain. Rumble. Beside, a completely black golden horned beast floated beside. The golden horned beast is killing outside, I'll be killing inside, we have to, not let a single one escape. Luo Feng said softly. Beast God transformation. Hua. Hua. Luo Feng and the golden horned beast simultaneously changed. The golden horned beast's 4 claws became even thicker, its head too began to change. Other than its 2 wings, it was almost like a golden beast god. The human Luo Feng too underwent a change. His godly body grew a little taller, scales began to appear on his skin, and his eyes glowed a dark gold. Although his divine power amplification had reached the limit of 100 times, under the beast god transformation he could use the heart of the beast god to slaughter more freely. Slaughter. Begin. Luo Feng made his move, heading straight for the strongest trapped within the Nine Ghost River, the Universe Overlord Zhongzhan Knight. Horizontal ellipsis. Zhongzhan Knight was the calmest amongst the group of aliens trapped within the Nine Ghost River. He came from the Bug Clan Alliance. Even though he wasn't from the Bug Clan, he still had an extremely high position. It was all because of his strength. He specialized in close combat and was extremely strong. His soul's natural defense was extremely strong. His only weakness was his small body. His height was only 0.8 meters. Hence he placed a lot of importance on his body's defense. The most precious thing on him was that high-level armor. I've been tricked. Feeling the Nine Ghost River's power explode, Zhongzhan Knight immediately understood, it's a trap. Purposely using this human Luo Feng as bait to attract the aliens closer. That human Luo Feng's world ring definitely has a universe overlord level being hidden within. This isn't good for me, I need to leave quickly. Double quote. Zhongzhan Knight wielded a huge blade, immediately breaking through the layers of obstacles and flying. His speed was the fastest. Zhongzhan Knight creased his eyebrows. He could feel the aliens getting closer. Even though he felt it wasn't good, he wasn't actually afraid. He didn't think a Universe Lord level being would be hidden within Luo Feng's world ring. If it wasn't a Universe Lord, normal Universe Overlords wouldn't pose much of a threat to him. Humanity's most terrifying Universe Overlord, Xian Shi Palace leader, hides within the human secret region, rarely showing himself. I've never heard of the Star Hell Demon Lord coming to the Primal Star. Other than the 2 or 3 most powerful Universe Overlords, the human Universe Overlords are nothing to fear. Zhongzhan Knight's thoughts flashed. A ray of golden light that was so beautiful that it could shock Venerable Zhongzhan's soul lit up. This ray of golden blade light streaked across the waters of the Nine Precipice River, and although it seemed slow, it directly arrived in front of Venerable Zhongzhan in an unparalleled manner. Venerable Zhongzhan's eyes widened, and in shock and anger, he swung the large blade in his hand with all his might, using his most powerful ultimate technique, Destiny's Adjudication. Ping! The huge blade was immediately flung away, rolling about in the golden river water. Cold. Sharp. Poignant. This golden blade didn't seem to weaken at all as it sliced right into Zhongzhan Knight's body. Zhongzhan Knight was filled with fear. What blade technique is this? This is more terrifying than any other Universe Overlord I've met in my long life. This blade technique was already beautiful to the point of shock. It completely represented the pinnacle of a path. The pinnacle of an origin law. Peng, the power of the saber strike directly reached the limits of this high-grade Supreme Treasure Armor, causing the Supreme Treasure Armor, which was originally capable of reducing the force of impact by 1/10,000th, to merely reduce the force of the attack to 1,000th. In an instant. Zhongzhan Knight's body was damaged by 62%, this caused him to be filled with fear. Even with my high-level armor, I still lost over half of my body, not good. Zhongzhan Knight knew that he would definitely die from the next blade, and at this time, the beautiful golden blade flashed once again. Quickly flee. Zhongzhan Knight communicated through his god energy, his voice piercing out. Peng. Under the saber light, Venerable Zhongzhan's dwarf-like divine body was instantly annihilated, leaving only a light purple and exquisite Supreme Treasure Armor floating in the air. As for the World Ring and the Great Saber, they had long been tossed into the distance. I only needed 2 slashes to kill him. Looks like under my Universe Lord's ultimate technique, the moment those Universe Tyrants have high-level armor, they'll be able to take it head-on, and this is with a small god body. If it was as big as the golden horned beast, I probably wouldn't be able to kill it even with 1,000 slashes. Luo Feng swiftly realized his weakness. His blade technique was already extremely strong, however it had only just exceeded the limits of a high-level armor. A high-level armor could still give the enemy extremely strong defense. Panicking. Double quote. Then let's continue. Luo Feng wielded the blade, his wings flapped and he drew an arc, heading straight for another high-level knight. Yes, panicking. When Sovereign Zhongzhan, the strongest of the 13 foreign race sovereigns trapped in the 9-kiln river, knew that he couldn't escape after receiving a blow, he sent out a shrill voice transmission. This instantly caused some of the foreign race sovereigns who were secretly worried to go crazy. Quickly flee. It's a trap. Even Zhongzhan Knight can't block it. Quickly flee. It's a beast. A piercing scream transmitted through the god energy as a medium within the 9-precipice river. Rumble. The shockwaves of the battle rumbled over. Compared to Luo Feng's blade's coldness and efficiency, this golden horned beast was even crazier and more unstoppable. How following a faint roar, the malevolent black beast god golden horned beast lowered its head at high speed, the longest horn on its head fiercely smashing into Honorable Ji Qi's body. Honorable Ji Qi's eyes widened in fear, and then Peng, his god body, was completely destroyed. With just one top-level armor, he had no way of blocking the golden horned beast's attack. It's a trap. That human Luo Feng is bait. There's a powerful overlord. He's much stronger than Zhongzhan Knight. He's slaughtering us, quickly. Double quote. Damn humans. All sorts of mad howls and roars of unwillingness resounded. However, wielding the saber, the beast god Luo Feng flew coldly within the golden river, after which he walked towards the other warriors, waving his saber under the beautiful golden light. The high-level warriors fell one after another. Most of the warriors didn't even have normal armor, they couldn't stop Luo Feng at all. Luo Feng was killing from the center. The golden horned beast was killing from the outer perimeter. Not a single one of the foreign race knights could escape. One had to know that within 9-kiln river, the high-level knights were already ridiculously slow. The only one that could fly at high speeds, Zhongzhan the knight, was the first to be killed. This group of foreign races already had no more hope. The number of outsider venerables trapped in the 9-ghost river continued to decrease. 8, 6, 3, 2, 1. And outside the vast expanse of the 9-precipice river. Due to the earlier commotion caused by the 5 knights chasing Luo Feng, it had attracted the attention of the other foreign race knights who were slightly further away. A total of 6 squads of them were already watching from afar. These 6 squads, a total of 15 of them, one of which was a universe tyrant. Trap. Bait. Quickly flee. The shrill voice was transmitted through the divine power and spread out in all directions. The 6 pairs of 15 alien venerables who were watching from afar were shocked. They were all watching from afar. However, the water of the 9-precipice river was too thick, they couldn't see clearly, however they could feel the movements within. At the start there was a huge energy movement, along with screams and roars of unwillingness. Human Luo Feng. Bait. It's a trap. Universe Overlord. However, after a while, it all quietened down. A deathly silence. At this time, the 6 pairs of alien venerables in the distance felt a chill in their hearts. They knew that all the alien venerables trapped inside were dead. Hua hua hua. The 9-precipice river gradually calmed down. A silhouette appeared in the center of the golden river. He carried a blade on his back, wings on his back, black hair, looking at the 6 teams tens of millions of km away. At that moment, none of the warriors made a sound. Chapter 1099 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng, you sure have guts, using yourself as bait to attract the foreign race warriors to surround and attack. After that, the universe tyrant will use his domain treasures to trap the warriors and slaughter them. In the distance, among the 6 teams of foreign race warriors, a silver-headed huge wolf floated in mid-air. His body was about 10 kilometers long, looking at the distant golden wave where Luo Feng stood. Thank you Jade Far Knight for your compliments. Luo Feng nodded. Jade Far Knight was even harder to deal with than the Zhongshan Knight he killed before. Firstly, Jade Far Knight was a true demon and had more treasures. Secondly, Jade Far Knight's body was much bigger, killing him would take more time. How Paragon Jadifa furiously roared, which universe overlord is so shameless to be able to kill Paragon's hand so easily? It shouldn't be an ordinary universe overlord. Which one of your human race is it? Cheyenne She Palace Leader? Ancestral Tree Knight? Star Hell Demon Lord? Double quote. Any one of the 3 of you possess great reputations. I respect the 3 of you. However, using Luo Feng as bait to attract the foreign races to slaughter us, that's not honorable at all. Jade Far Knight's voice resounded throughout the land, resounding within Luo Feng's ears. This made him smile. Cheyenne She Palace Leader, Ancestral Tree Knight, Star Hell Demon Lord. Interesting. The human race had many universe tyrants. However, as humans were naturally normal life forms, many of them were normal, similar to Jade Far Knight and Key Blood Palace Leader. Like the Ancestral Tree Knight, Star Hell Demon Lord and Cheyenne She Palace Leader, these 3 had extremely special encounters and had the ability to create clones. Under normal circumstances, a power should have about the same number of universe lords and universe lords. The human race had over 10 universe lords, but only 3 of them. This was because humanity's foundations were weak. Like the ancestral god sect that gathered large amounts of special life forms, they actually had more of the universe lords. Like the Northern Border Alliance with many races, they had many of the universe lords too. In the distance, the 6 teams of foreign race warriors in mid-air were discussing quietly, feeling indignant. That's too much. They've really lowered their status. The human race is the pinnacle race. No matter which one of those 3 hid in Luo Feng's world ring, it's simply too shameless. They had already made a name for themselves. If other venerables saw them, they would have avoided them long ago. They did not dare to disturb them at all. But I didn't expect them to play this trick. Double quote. Although the 6 teams of foreign race venerables were furious, they were all far away and could escape as soon as they saw that the situation was not good. Venerable Ancestral Tree. Star Hell Devil Master? The giant silver wolf Paragon Jadifa was still shouting loudly. Heaven She Palace Master? It seemed like he was trying to provoke that existence to come out so that he could figure out who it was. Jade Far Knight, the 3 aren't here. Luo Feng stood on the golden wave and smiled. Just me. HMPH, just you alone. The giant silver wolf sneered. The other 15 venerables also shook their heads. They had all heard the screams of mutated beasts. Clearly, it was a top universe overlord that could fight in beast form. Which overlord of the universe is it? Show yourself, the giant silver wolf shouted again. Hua hua hua. The golden waves disappeared in an instant. Luo Feng's silver wings and silver armor, with a blade on his back, he laughed loudly. Jade Far Knight, I've said before, just me. HMPH, no matter which one of you three has been famous for a long time. HMPH, to do such a thing, you're indeed a cunning human. Jade Far Knight sneered. Jade Far Knight, are you looking for death? Luo Feng roared fiercely. Su. He immediately became a silver light rushing towards Jade Far Knight, scaring him so much that he roared softly and immediately turned to flee. He was very clear that he had to maintain a sufficient distance from this human Luo Feng. Otherwise, Luo Feng would be able to instantly unleash that domain treasure. When that happened, he would be in danger. His strength was close to Zhong's Han Knight's. Quickly leave. Go. Jade Far Knight turned and fled. The other foreign race venerables naturally followed and swiftly flew in all directions. Luo Feng quickly slowed down and floated in mid-air, looking around at the fleeing foreign race knights, laughing softly. I originally wanted to have a good chat with all of you up close, but the distance is too far and it's troublesome to chat. However, since you all aren't interested, I'll leave. Double quote. Su. He became a silver beam and tore through the skies, not chasing any other foreign race. HMPH. Jade Far Knight in the distance turned his head to look at the light beam and roared, relying on the fact that he's accompanied by an elite universe overlord, he dares to be so arrogant. If he was alone on this planet, he would have been killed long ago and his treasures would have been taken. Double quote. Luo Feng slaughtering the 13 foreign race venerables had actually caused quite a commotion. After all, even if a normal treasure were to appear on the planet, the death of 1 or 2 venerables would be enough. Only when a high-level treasure or even a pinnacle treasure were to appear would there be a large-scale fall of absolute warriors. Thornring Alliance, within a majestic palace in space. Greetings Universe Lord. Ji-Ki Knight stood respectfully within the palace. Ji-Ki. A cold voice resounded from within the palace. You reported that 13 venerables were instantly killed? Yes. Honorable Ji-Ki said respectfully, these 13 universe supremacies include my Thornring Alliance, Bug Race Alliance, Northern Border Alliance, Demon Race Alliance and 9 Territories Alliance. One of them is a universe overlord from the Bud Clan Alliance, Zhong's Han Knight. Of the 13, only I have the talent to create clones, hence I immediately reported it. I'm afraid the other parties aren't clear on the details yet. Double quote. Supremacy Ji-Ki was also one of those who were killed. Who did it? Star Hell Demon Lord? Cheyenne Shi Palace Leader? Ancestral Tree? The cold voice resounded. Universe Lord, the one who did it was a black beast. It was extremely terrifying, it should be a warrior that trained in the gold beast god path. Ji-Ki Knight said respectfully, and this beast's attainment in the gold beast god path is extremely high. I feel that it should be extremely close to the beast god level. I was instantly killed. Beast god path. Could it be the Star Hell Demon Lord? But the Star Hell Demon Lord doesn't walk the gold beast god path. The cold voice resounded doubtfully. I'm very sure it was a black beast. His attacks are mysterious and unfathomable. At the very least, his realm far exceeds mine. Ji-Ki Knight said respectfully. You think that black beast could kill Zhong's Han Knight? The cold voice resounded. Yes, definitely. Ji-Ki nodded. Even if Zhong's Han Knight wanted to kill me, I wouldn't be completely defenseless. But in front of that black beast, I was completely defenseless. I was killed in one move. And I feel that the beast didn't even use its full strength. If it was against Zhong's Han Knight, it should be able to kill him. Double quote. That's weird, since when did the human race have such a beast? The cold voice resounded doubtfully. The figure in the palace slowly walked down. This was a female master of the universe. She was clad in dark purple armor and had hundreds of needle-like sharp horns on her head. Her face was devilish and extremely seductive, but her entire body naturally exuded waves of cold air that made even Honorable G-Key shudder. This Universe Lord was the Stabbing Heart leader of the Stabbing Heart Alliance. Her position was equivalent to the Primal Chaos City leader in the Great Alliance. That's weird. The Stabbing Heart leader said softly. According to what you said, it wasn't any of the three. Could it be Luo Feng himself who trained in the Gold Beast God Path? That can't be right. Luo Feng is still very weak. Even if this Luo Feng became a Universe Knight, his comprehension of the laws is still very low. He's probably around the 4th or 5th level of the Beast God Path. With such a low comprehension, he can't even create the ultimate techniques of the Universe Lords. It's not to the extent that even you find it unfathomable. Double quote. G-Key Knight nodded. It's definitely not that Luo Feng. No matter whether he became a Universe Knight or not, he doesn't have such comprehension of the laws. There's no news of him appearing to receive the Beast God Path from Bohemia Island either. The Stabbing Heart leader frowned. Unless, the Primal Chaos City leader arranged for some absolute warrior to protect his disciple? The human race still has a hidden absolute warrior? G-Key Knight said softly. The Stabbing Heart leader glanced at him. No, even though the human race only has 3 pinnacle universe lords, the Great Alliance has more than that. G-Key Knight was shocked. Yes. The Great Alliance was an alliance of many races with the human race as the core. There were still many strong warriors from other races. Universe Lord, that pinnacle Universe Lord actually used this method to massacre us. Should we do anything about it? G-Key Knight couldn't help but ask. Pinnacle Universe Lords are already very close to the Universe Lord level. Dealing with us is a massacre. How should we do anything about it? The Stabbing Heart leader laughed softly. It's not them who massacred you. It's you who attacked them out of greed and got slaughtered. If a Universe Lord or an Pinnacle Universe Lord purposely massacred groups of warriors, it would incur public anger. However, if you provoke them first, then nobody can say anything. Double quote. The news spread extremely quickly. However, the large powers didn't treat it as anything important. To them, it was just a group of warriors from other races walking into a trap out of greed. They wouldn't say anything even if they were killed. And other than the Stabbing Ring Alliance, the other powers didn't even know what the Pinnacle Universe Lord looked like or what he trained in. After all, the resurrection of the advanced level warriors would usually be gathered and distributed to a Universe Lord. Only when the Universe Lord had the time would he act. Virtual Universe, Hongmeng City's highest authority center, Hongmeng Palace. Interesting. It's quite interesting. They wanted to kill that Luo Feng, yet they were all killed. If the other powers knew about this, they wouldn't say anything. Double quote. Primal Chaos City leader, it must have been arranged by you. Without your arrangements, why would that Pinnacle Universe Lord be willing to stay in Luo Feng's world ring? Tell me, when Luo Feng entered the Primal Star, just which Universe Lord was hidden in his world ring? We thought about it, but we couldn't confirm who it was. Double quote. A total of 6 leaders sat on their thrones, laughing and chatting. The Primal Chaos City leader listened and maintained his smile. Actually, he was puzzled too. He didn't know either. Don't tell me Luo Feng made friends with some Pinnacle Universe Lord. The Primal Chaos City leader thought. Chapter 1100 Swallowed Star. In the sky above another primitive planet, a mighty golden river floated in midair. 9 strange beasts were swimming and roaring in the river. It's a domain treasure. What a strong resistance! I didn't expect Luo Feng to have such a treasure. The absolute geniuses of the pinnacle races indeed receive different benefits, even so weak he has a domain treasure. This time, looks like we have no way of killing that human Luo Feng. Let's go. Let's go. The three knights of the North Border Alliance communicated through their divine energy, trying their best to break through the layers of river water and fly outwards. However, their speed was extremely slow. This caused the three to curse inwardly. A mere undying rank genius, even though he had killed Bark Mirror Emperor, he should only have the strength of a middle-class universe supreme. Yet, he actually obtained a domain-type treasure. Along with the confirmed soul treasure, this was even better than the treasures of many universe overlords. If it wasn't for the domain treasure, he definitely wouldn't have been able to escape. He's lucky. Suddenly, in the majestic golden river ahead, a faintly discernible black mutant beast suddenly appeared. The cold killing intent in its dark golden eyes immediately caused the universe venerable flying at the front to quiver. He hurriedly shouted, "Be careful." Howl. The black beast instantly became a beam of golden light, accompanied by a faint ancient roar. With unbelievable speed it slammed into the scaled chest of the foremost universe knight. Rumble! That universe knight's top-grade armor instantly shattered, his divine body was directly destroyed. The black beast's momentum didn't slow down, it once again sped up and charged towards the second universe knight. Like a road roller, crushing a wolf to death. Even though the wolf was savage, the moment it was crushed by the road roller, it would definitely become meat paste. It's a trap, it's a trap. The only surviving knight stared wide-eyed with his three jade-green eyes, his purple lips let out a god roar of fear and rage. The human Luo Feng is bait, bait. Hua. An ice-cold golden saber light slashed from behind. The third universe supremacy was still trying his best to block the black mutant beast, but he suddenly felt his body shake violently. Then, he didn't know what happened. It's too late to know it's a trap now. The silver-armored and winged Luo Feng wielded the Zhan's hand blade and walked over. Looking at the floating treasure shards, weapons, and world rings, he waved his hand and collected them all. After which, he sheathed the Zhan's hand blade and the golden horned beast disappeared into the world ring. That's why they are not well informed. The powers of the other universes don't have virtual universes and are unable to transmit information in real time. Luo Feng said softly, especially the Northern Border Alliance, Nine Territory Alliance and other powers with many different races. Especially this Northern Border Alliance, they sure have a lot of races, about a third of the foreign knights I've killed are from them. Only after roaming the primitive star did he realize how powerful the Northern Borderline Alliance was. Back at the open-air square of Circus Island, the Hong Alliance only had 1,000 beast deity inheritors, but the Northern Borderline Alliance had hundreds of thousands of them. From this ratio, one could vaguely see the ratio of the number of experts. A portion of the universe's venerables already know that they need to retreat if they meet me. But there are still some universe venerables who haven't heard of this news. Luo Feng's thoughts moved and the endless golden waves vanished, becoming a silver light that flew into the distance. And there were no traces of the battle in mid-air, not a single treasure shard was left behind by Luo Feng. Virtual Universe Great Alliance City in a city, that open-air bar. Relying on the endless dark ocean consciousness to connect to the virtual universe, Luo Feng would usually come here once every 10 days to half a month. He had always been quietly waiting for Xian Heng's news. It was just that the 10,081 primitive star was simply too big, and Xian Heng was a universe overlord. He moved alone. The moment he hid somewhere, he might hide for hundreds or even thousands of years. To find his location, it indeed required time and luck. Luo Feng. Blade River. Walking in the open-air bar, there were many knights passionately greeting him. Even the few universe tyrants that occasionally appeared were very courteous to Luo Feng. After all, Luo Feng's accomplishments in the past year of entering the primal star were shocking. The other powers spread the news slowly, however the Great Alliance warriors spread it very quickly. Over the past year, the number of universe venerables and overlords that had fallen because of Luo Feng wasn't a small number. Even though they all thought it was the work of one of the pinnacle overlords hiding in his world ring, the fact that he was willing to stay in his world ring proved Luo Feng's status and position. To be able to befriend such a pinnacle overlord was naturally something every warrior would be happy to do. Even the universe lords valued the pinnacle overlords. Because the pinnacle overlords' battle strength was very close to the universe lords. And they could revive after they died. And the universe lords couldn't revive after they died. Hence the pinnacle overlords had a very special position. Luo Feng. A familiar voice resounded. Luo Feng turned to look. In the distance there were two warriors sitting in a corner, and there were no other warriors around them. Gui Knight, Undying Knight? Luo Feng was shocked within. He finally understood why there weren't any other warriors near them, because these two had extraordinary positions. Gui Knight was an extremely important disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, and Undying Knight was the disciple of the Huge Axe creator. Both were extraordinary. Luo Feng smiled and walked over. Gui Knight was as usual dressed in a fiery red armor, barefooted and bald. Looking at him naturally made one feel calm. However, after training for 180 million years, Luo Feng's willpower was much stronger than before. Completely at the entry level of the Universe Lord, he wasn't affected at all. Luo Feng had seen the Undying Knight once before, through the virtual universe communication. The Undying Knight was the same as before, dressed in a peculiar armor with tens of thousands of vines hanging from it. Even his face was covered by the vines, only his green eyes were as evil as always. Back then, when Luo Feng was still weak, he had fallen for this once. In the eyes of Luo Feng and Tru Yan back then, Undying Knight and Gui Knight were both universe overlords. They were unreachable beings. However, the current Luo Feng was very clear of these two's abilities. Gui Knight was at the level of a normal universe overlord, only his treasures were better, and he was proficient in hypnotism and close combat. Undying Knight's reputation was huge. His true battle strength was at the level of a normal universe overlord. However, his survivability was extremely strong. To date, nobody had been able to kill him. He was bestowed with the publicly recognized title of Undying Senior. Luo Feng walked over and smiled. Undying Knight. Sit, Gui said with a smile. You've grown very quickly. Back then you were very weak, very far from undying. Just one look from me was enough to affect him. However, he was able to shake off the effects of my gaze. Now that I think about it, you're indeed extraordinary. I've heard that tens of knights have fallen because of you. Haha, powerful indeed. Undying Knight's voice was strange and piercing. However, Luo Feng, who had spoken with him, knew that this was how he was. Luo Feng, Undying Knight and I are very curious. Just how many foreign knights and overlords have fallen because of your pinnacle universe overlord friend? Gui smiled. It's still alright. Luo Feng smiled. A total of 82 knights, 5 universe overlords. 5 universe overlords. Gui and Undying Knight both revealed looks of shock. The two of them were only at this level. Of course, their backgrounds were huge. Their treasures were strong too. Their survivability was much stronger. However, even so, they still found it unbelievable. In the beginning, those outsider sovereigns who were greedy for me tried to kill me, but ended up being killed instead. Especially in the first half month, there were many outsiders who died. However, as the news spread, more and more foreign races found out about this. They avoided me the moment they saw me. Only occasionally would they meet the foreign races that weren't well informed. It's been 3 months and I've only met one unlucky fellow. Luo Feng said. The truth was indeed so. The news spread faster and faster. The more it spread, the more famous the knights fell, the more it made Luo Feng's name. Even the foreign universe overlords avoided Luo Feng, not daring to get close. Just who is your friend? Gui Knight couldn't help but ask, can you tell me? He's called Luo Feng. Luo Feng smiled. Don't joke around. Gui smiled, if you can't say, then don't. Luo Feng sighed within. There was really no one who believed it, until now, not a single warrior believed he did it. It was no wonder, in the eyes of these warriors, even though he had broken through to the universe knight level, his origin law comprehension couldn't be improved quickly. From the beast god level 4 to 7, 100 million years was normal. In a short 20,000 years, in the eyes of those experts, his level of secret techniques was definitely very low. Even if his divine body was stronger, it was far from the world tree, supremacy purple rain, Xian Shi palace master, and other heaven-defying existences of the universe. If you really want to know a name, Gold Peak Knight. Luo Feng said. Gold Peak Knight? Gui Knight and Undying Knight glanced at each other, feeling suspicious. Who? They had never heard of him before. Playing with us. Undying Knight's green eyes were filled with suspicion. I didn't lie, you'll know in the future. Luo Feng smiled. Is it a foreign race? Gui Knight asked curiously. I guess so. Luo Feng nodded. At this time, Luo Feng's eyes noticed a silhouette in the distance looking over. Looking carefully, it was Pei Yu Knight. Seeing Luo Feng look over, Pei Yu Knight signaled with his eyes. Senior, Undying Knight, I'll go see a friend. Luo Feng stood up and smiled, following which he walked towards Pei Yu Knight. Pei Yu Knight quickly came over to welcome him. The two met. He immediately lowered his voice and said, Blade River, I've already discovered Xian Tai Knight. Xian Tai Knight? Like a bucket of ice water was poured over his head. Luo Feng shuddered, his eyes gleaming. Chapter 1100 Swallowed Star. Where is it? Luo Feng suppressed his excitement and asked. The knight immediately told Luo Feng the details of the planet ball and its coordinates etc. Thanks. Luo Feng said gratefully. A small matter. The knight said curiously, you're so concerned about that knight, is there a grudge? That's a universe overlord. Double quote. A friend entrusted it to me. Luo Feng said. Ah. The knight nodded in understanding. In the air above the planet, Luo Feng, who was originally a silver beam flying in one direction, suddenly turned and flew in another direction. I've waited for so many years. I went to find the fourth black metal plate to raise my strength. It was all for this day. The silver-armored and silver-winged Luo Feng's eyes were filled with anticipation. He couldn't forget the intense calling of the Wuxi wing. He believed that the moment it was with the black wing, there would be a qualitative change. One had to know that the stronger the treasure, the harder it was to find it. In this year, even though he had killed 82 high-level knights and 5 universe overlords. However, the 82 high-level knights only had a total of 6 normal treasures. The 5 universe overlords had a total of 18 normal treasures and 4 high-level treasures. Normal treasure sets were also considered high-level treasures. Even with the treasures in their world rings etc. Calculating their total value, it was only 60-70 treasure points. That wasn't enough to exchange for a top-level treasure. And the top-level treasures were already enough to make the universe lords envious. Under normal circumstances, even the top-level treasures and weapons were usually reserved for the universe lords. As for the top-level treasures, like the Calamity Armor etc., they were even harder to come by. Even the Flame Emperor found it hard to get one. I've already killed 5 universe overlords, even though they surrounded and attacked me out of greed. However, the news has spread far and wide. It's hard to meet another universe overlord who doesn't have good information. Luo Feng thought, I'm already considered one of the wealthiest universe overlords. However, the top-level treasures are still too far away. However, the moment I get the other wing, once I fuse with it, Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. This time's rewards would probably exceed the year's worth of killing. Su. Luo Feng swiftly headed towards the whirlpool pathway to planet number 02881. Planet number 02881. Just now, it seemed like the universe supremacies of the Great Alliance. I was discovered by them. The 8-armed bald man of the automaton race, Supremacy Shiandeo, suddenly emerged from the weeds. As a member of the automaton race, his divine body had certain technological characteristics. For example, his head could see in all directions. He was extremely vigilant. My whereabouts cannot be revealed now. Just in case, let's leave this place as soon as possible. A cold glint flashed through Venerable Xian Ming's eyes. He immediately flapped the black wings on his back and soared into the sky. Horizontal ellipsis. The sky was dark. A golden horned beast was floating high up in the sky, surveying its surroundings. Right here. According to Paragon Yun's house intelligence, it should be in this region. Golden Horn Luo Feng swept his gaze below. As his earth body's name was too famous, even the universe tyrants would usually take a detour when they saw him. To prevent the Xian Tai Knight from escaping in fear, Luo Feng used the golden horned beast to rush over. Also, the golden horned beast didn't use the slaying Wu wings. This way, Xian Heng wouldn't be able to detect it beforehand. No. Not here. Golden Horn Luo Feng was suspicious, carefully inspecting the wild grass. They were all very tall, with a strong warrior hiding within. If one didn't look carefully, one wouldn't be able to tell at all. Rumble. Boundless golden waves spread out in an instant, enveloping the land and seeping into every inch of the weeds. In an instant, the vast area with a radius of 30 million kilometers was completely enveloped. Within this area, there was absolutely no expert who could escape the screening of this domain-type treasure. No warrior. Golden Horn Luo Feng was even more suspicious. I rushed over from there, even though I spent quite a bit of time flying. It's only been 2 days. And the universe knights are all hiding in the primal planet, waiting for their chance. Waiting for a year or so is very normal. How did he disappear? Double quote. Golden Horn Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. The land and skies were a vast expanse. There was no way to confirm where Xian Heng had gone. However, the slaying Wu wings hidden in the world ring were getting restless, obviously sensing his location. Who cares? Golden Horn Luo Feng roared softly. The endless golden waves immediately vanished. Simultaneously, a treasure-slaying Wu wings flew out of the world ring and fused into the scaled wings. The beast god armor and the wings worked together. One had to know that even though the beast god armor was a set, its original design didn't have wings. However, if he fused those scaly treasures into his wings, he would be able to achieve an extremely high defensive effect. However, in terms of flight, it still couldn't match up to the slaying Wu wings. The two now worked together naturally well. Weng weng weng, a strong calling resounded from a direction. The slaying Wu wings trembled, almost as though it was about to leave and fly over. There. Golden Horn Luo Feng looked far to the left. This strong calling was the same as back then. Obviously it was caused by Xian Heng's black wings. This time, I won't let you escape. Golden Horn Luo Feng swiftly flapped his wings and his speed began to soar, constantly climbing, all the way to light speed, after which he flew straight in that direction. About a few 100 million km away from Luo Feng, in the swamp, Xian Heng's skin had completely turned turbid. He laid within the swamp, the water covering him. If he didn't use his god energy or domain to scan, just his eyes alone wouldn't be able to detect him. Weng weng weng, Xian Heng's flowing light wings trembled too. The strong calling made them unable to calm down. Hua. A bald metal head popped out from the swamp. staring coldly into the distance. "It's that golden horned beast. I sensed you the moment you arrived on this planet. I didn't expect you to still fly towards me." Xian Heng's eyes were filled with coldness. He naturally couldn't forget the battle 20,000 years ago. That golden horned beast had an extremely important pair of wings on it. In that battle, the golden horned beast was obviously weaker. However, it relied on its powerful armor and huge body, causing him to be at a disadvantage. "Damn bastard, is he here to bother me again?" Xian Heng gritted his teeth. "His strength is clearly weaker than mine, however at least he has a high-level armor, and his body is huge. Fighting with him, I've used up all my body, he hasn't even used up much." Double quote. "Damn. If it wasn't for your body being huge, I'd definitely fight with you." Xian Heng gritted his teeth. Rumble. After which he became a beam of light and flew in one direction. The golden horned beast could vaguely feel the direction of the calling, however as it flew in that direction, the calling was actually moving and getting further away. "He's fleeing." Golden Horn Luo Feng was shocked. Why? In the previous battle, Xian Heng had the upper hand. Luo Feng relied on his huge body to gain the upper hand. The control of the battle was still in Xian Heng's hands. He shouldn't have sensed him and fled in fear. "If you flee, I'll chase. Let's see how long you can flee for." Luo Feng maintained his fastest speed as he chased. An 8-armed bald automaton warrior and a golden horned beast, one ahead and one behind. The distance between them was a few 100 million km. However, no matter how Xian Heng flew, the golden horned beast could clearly sense his location, making it impossible for him to flee. "Damn. Why are you chasing? Does he think that by catching up to me, he'll be able to fight me? Other than Universe Lords, even the pinnacle of Universe Lords might not be able to kill me. Damn, if it wasn't now, I'd definitely teach you a lesson." Xian Heng was completely enraged from being chased. However, he forcefully suppressed the rage within. "Go to another primal star." Xian Heng looked at the distant space whirlpool and immediately flew over, passing through it and arriving at another primal star. After about half an hour, the golden horned beast flew over too. According to my senses, he disappeared from this location. The golden horned beast looked at the distant space whirlpool. "Even if he self-destructs, that wing won't be destroyed. I should still be able to sense it. Obviously he entered another primal star." Double quote. Rumble. The golden horned beast too passed through the space whirlpool and arrived at another primal star. After Xian Heng entered the new primal star and flew about 100 million kilometers, he stopped and hid himself. "That damned golden horned beast knows he can't catch up to me, and he can't do anything to me. He shouldn't chase me." However, after a while, that familiar strong calling came again. The black wings behind him trembled. Damn. Xian Heng was incomparably enraged. Golden horned beast. Xian Heng was filled with hatred. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want to reveal himself at such a crucial time, he could just flee and summon the automaton warriors to destroy the golden horned beast. Good, I'll wait for you. I'll let you know the difference between you and me. Xian Heng was completely enraged. He stood in the forest and waited. Luo Feng was curious too. It's not fleeing anymore, that's weird. Who cares, it's a good thing it's not fleeing. Luo Feng was confident too. Unless a universe lord personally descended, Luo Feng wasn't afraid of anyone. Rumble. The golden horned beast swiftly flew in that direction. In a short while, it was in the air above the forest. Following that, it immediately dove down, flying towards the location of the other wing that it could clearly sense. Damned golden horned beast. The 8-armed automaton bald stood on the tree crown, his black wings slightly flapping as he looked coldly at Luo Feng. Xian Heng. The golden horned beast however swiftly flew over. Damn. Xian Heng roared angrily. The suppressed rage from being chased for so long was completely unleashed. Rumble, the land and skies were suddenly enveloped in an endless black light. The golden horned beast that was originally flying at an extremely fast speed seemed to sink into a swamp, its speed immediately slowing down. It's a domain treasure. Golden horned Luo Feng was shocked. Since when did this Xian Heng have a domain treasure?